All right, I want to talk about the next distinction between the middle class and millionaires. If you're new to the series, we're right in the middle of talking about this book by Keith Cameron Smith, The Top 10 Distinctions Between Millionaires and the Middle Class. This is stuff, guys, I've spent the last several years coaching and consulting for millionaires, entrepreneurs, some deca millionaires, and the stuff that I learned a lot. I was also able to help them a lot and just create some great friendships, and all kinds of just awesome stuff came from it. But one of the things that I want to really bring over to the Christian space, the church world, is a lot of the mindsets that are over here inside of millionaires. Because it's kind of like this. I feel like the business world is learning all of these high performance habits, high level mindsets, ways to increase their wealth by the way they think. They show up differently. And honestly, they portray a lot of Christ's characteristics and how genuine they are, how generous they are, how loving and caring they are. But then they also bring a new way of thinking. In a lot of ways, it's a better way of thinking, a higher way of thinking. It's a high performance mindset. It is they understand about controlling their emotions. A lot of them do study the Bible. A lot of them do study what the Word says, but they don't just read it, they actually do it. So I'm bringing a lot of what I learned in the business world over to the Christian world, the church world, so that you too can implement their mindsets, their strategies, and some of their tactics, and you can experience the increased life as well, the blessed life, the abundant life, the generous life like they are. Because that stuff was created for us. It was created for Christians. It was created for Adam. It was not created for the sinner of the world. It was created for God's people. Problem is, a lot of God's people don't know how to actually live it out. That's what I'm going to help you do. So make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, please, because you don't want to miss what's in this book. And you don't want to miss this series in particular, because it's going to open your ways to some new mindsets and thoughts you've never had before. It's going to set you free. All right. So in the last one, we talked about one of the main distinctions is the ability to think long term. The longer term you can think out, please go watch that one. It's probably the number one thing that helped me, is that particular video. The longer you can think out, the more money you are able to make, the more wealth you can generate and handle. So in this one, think about this. Here's the next distinction. Millionaires talk about ideas. The middle class talk about things and other people. Big people talk about ideas. Average people talk about things. And small people talk about other people. Big people talk about ideas. Average people talk about things. And small people talk about other people. What do you spend your time talking about? Ideas, things, or people? Dude, just that alone right there is convicting. I've spent a lot of time, unfortunately, I'll be honest and transparent with you guys, I've talked about other people. And then things, and I think he'll get to it in a minute, but I'll just tell you what I'm thinking right now. When we talk about things, and it's not necessarily wrong, but if a lot of the discussion, there's certain people I'm around and it's like all they're talking about is things, cars, all they're talking about is football games and teams and what that stuff's going on. And again, that's fine. Like, you can have fun with that stuff. That's okay. But there's some people I'm like, that's all they talk about. And now that I've read this book, I kind of get it now. It's like they're stuck and that's all they can think about. Again, it's fine to talk about those things sometimes and have some fun with it. Cool. All good. I enjoy cars, stuff like that. I like to talk about them sometimes from time to time, but it's not the main thing I talk about. And I don't talk about it. It's not the only thing. It's not you hang around me, we might talk about cars for that long, but most of what our conversations are about ideas and next level thinking, right? It goes on to say, I'm sure you've heard the old saying, there are three types of people. Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who say what happened. It all falls in these same three categories. It's amazing. A deeper look into these two statements reveals a secret of the very successful. Many millionaires are creative. They spend time thinking about new ideas. When working on projects, they go into an option thinking mode and look for several possibilities. To become more successful, you must continually expand your mind. In a world where everything's changing fast, you would be wise to spend time thinking of new ways to do things. There's another business book called The Road Less Stupid. And one of the main points, as Billionaire wrote it, one of the main points is he would take time, it'd be in his calendar, and he would plan it out, and he would be very intentional, and he would just have thinking time. That's it. He would do certain things, grab a cup of coffee, clear the room, make sure everything was decluttered, maybe put on some music. He had his little routine with it. But a lot of people don't actually do that. Just some thinking time. If you were to build that into your life, whether it was daily, whatever, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and just have a little bit of thinking time. Thinking on new ideas, new ways to do things, new possibilities. You would be shocked at what ends up coming to your mind, the ideas that you have. But we don't even give time, or we don't even make space for ideas because we're just in the rat race. We're just grinding and going. We wake up, go straight to work, commute, eat at lunch, eat with our friends, eat something that probably makes you sleepy, and then right after lunch you're sleepy, and then you just try to survive until it's time to go, and then you drive home and your commute's mind numbing, and then you get home and make the kids dinner, hang out with them for a little bit, and then binge watch some Netflix, and it's bedtime. And then you do it again tomorrow. The next thing you know, it's been a year, and 2, and 3, and 10. No thinking time. And you might talk about the football teams and the sports and the stuff that you like, and you got your little hobbies. But it's a different conversation than what millionaires are talking about. I remember in the same vein, I was over at my brother-in-law's house, and he has online businesses as well. And it was I think it was one of the kids' birthday parties or something like that. And there was another young guy there who I didn't know him, but me and my brother were talking, and we were talking about the podcasts and the YouTube videos we've been listening to that are teaching some business stuff, some mindset stuff, some marketing things. Oh, have you heard this episode? Did you see this one yet? Did you follow it? This guy told me about this one, so I watched this. And this newer guy comes up, and he's about our age, maybe a little bit younger. And I said, "What about you? What do you listen to? Who do you follow online? And what kind of podcasts are you listening to?" And he looked at me. That's just my world. I mean, everybody in my world is listening to podcasts and watching YouTube videos and following, mentors and teachers and things like that. Some of it's in the faith realm, some of it's in the business realm, both. Everyone I hang out with and associate with, all my close friends, we all listen to stuff and are always working, growing, developing, talking about ideas. I didn't put it all together with this book, but now that I've read the book, I can see what's happening. Well, anyway, this other guy, he looked at us with, the most innocent demeanor I've ever seen, and just so genuine. And he was just like, I don't listen to anybody. I've never listened to a podcast. And I remember me and my brother were like, "Oh, yeah, okay." Sounds funny. I forgot that that's some people's lives. I've been out of that for so long that I forgot there were people like, I don't listen to anybody. Huh? He was basically like, what do you mean? Not knowing that there's hundreds of millions of us who listen to self-development podcasts and faith stuff and spiritual training and personal development, all those different things. He didn't even know. But we got to help those people and pull them up. All right. Millionaires talk about ideas and they make things happen. The middle class talk about things and they watch things happen. The very poor talk about other people and ask, what happened? Think about someone like an Elon Musk. He's one of my favorites just because he's a little crazy. He's a little wild. He doesn't care about what other people care about. I kind of like it. I don't know his story too well, just the stuff I see here and there. But there's something special about that guy. It wasn't that he was lucky to be that way. He made decisions on how he was going to think and the results that he wanted in his life. It's available to anybody. But he's definitely a person with ideas, and he makes things happen. Even the fun stuff. Do you guys remember when I talk about this in one of my business presentations. If you go to the Passive Income Engines channel, you might see it. But he was trying to raise awareness and money for the Boring Company. He made a company that basically has these like hyper shoot tubes that connect cities underground, like an LA to Vegas kind of thing, and you can park your car in there and it'll like ding, shoot you over. He wanted to raise awareness for it and raise some money for it. So he created a flamethrower. And if you watch, there's a bunch of YouTubers who have it. I forgot the exact numbers. I think he made 200 of them. Maybe it was 2,000 of them. And he charged, I'm spacing on the numbers, like I have it in my presentation. Anyway, he raised $10 million in like 2 or 3 days because he created a fun flamethrower to promote his new company. And it's like, who doesn't want a flamethrower? And it was a pretty low price. I was like, if I would have known about it, I would have bought one. But here's a guy who has ideas, and then he makes things happen. He raised the money, was able to execute, raised the awareness. People learned about his company, and he was able to take it to the next level because he has ideas and then makes things happen. The middle class talk about things and watch things happen. The very poor talk about other people and then ask, what happened? Entertainment has its place. I'll put it this way. Middle class people talk about things that come from a millionaire's idea. They talk about things like cars, sports, entertainment, music, and vacations. That sticks out to me. I've had so many people who talk about just all of it. It's like they base their whole year around vacations. They plan them out so far in advance. And I remember thinking like, good for you. Like, cool, vacations are fun. I get it. But it sounds like you're living a miserable life and you're just trying to escape. And I think that's a lot of the middle class. Millionaires own the car companies. Millionaires own the sports teams. Millionaires produce the movies and television shows. Millionaires produce the music. Millionaires own the vacation spots. The middle class spends its money on the things that were created by a millionaire's idea. And this is not, just so you guys are super clear, I think you get this, but hope it goes without saying. When I talk about the rich, the millionaires, poor, and the middle class, it's not a sense of like you are cast into one of those segments or societies and you're stuck there. That's not what we're saying. We're making you aware of how millionaires think so that you will begin to think like them and you will pull yourself up from the poor to the middle class, from the middle class to the millionaire. You will pull yourself up by the way that you think. So if you're thinking, how can I go produce the movies everyone's talking about? How can I go own the car companies? How can I own the vacation spot instead of planning my whole life around a vacation? How can I go and own it? I remember reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad when I was 16, and that was one of the big revelations is he talked about owning apartment complexes. And he was like, someone's got to own the apartments. And I just thought, oh yeah, a human owns this apartment complex and he gets rent for every single door. Well, but Travis, I could never do that. I don't have the money. I don't know anything about real estate. How could I own an apartment complex? That's how the middle class think. Millionaires change the way they think first, and then the results follow. So you've got it backwards. You're thinking the money comes first somehow magically, and then you will think like, oh, now that I've won the lottery and I've got millions of dollars, I'll go buy apartments. No, you're missing it. It's why you're where you're at. It's why I'm making these videos. I can't let you stay there. The person who's going to become a millionaire says, how can I? How can I own the apartments? Let me go learn some stuff. Let me go read some stuff. I literally listened to a YouTube video on the way over here, just running an errand while I was out on how to buy multi-million-dollar apartment complexes with no money out of your own pocket. A new skill set, a new way of thinking. Very interesting. So if you've got no money in your pocket, there are strategies out there where you can still acquire multi-million-dollar properties like apartments. Maybe you should go learn that. Instead of saying why you can't do it, maybe you should ask yourself, how can I do it? I'm preaching. Okay. Entertainment has its place, but it must be kept in balance. Sure, millionaires enjoy entertainment, but they don't spend much time talking about it. One of the reasons the middle class and very poor love entertainment so much is because they are easily impressed with fame and fortune. Millionaires choose fortune over fame. They are not easily impressed with the superficial lifestyle of so-called stars. People who are easily impressed with others are often insecure and confused about what they want in life. Millionaires are secure in who they are and what they want. When you are clear on who you are and what you want in life, you will become secure and successful. Man, I want to read the whole chapter to you. It's so good. Again, I'll grab this book. It's on Amazon. Often the middle class, I'll wrap up with this. Often the middle class and the very poor are poor financially because they are poor emotionally. Yo, guys, I'm giving you insights. And don't think this, don't be like, oh, that's not me. Stop and consider that and ask the Lord, is that me? Do I need to work on this? Oftentimes the middle class and the very poor are poor financially because they are poor emotionally. You can't become rich without building good relationships. If you spend much time talking negatively about others, it will cost you emotionally and financially. Talking about people behind their backs is immature ignorance. Millionaires respect people. They give people the benefit of the doubt and realize that people are doing the best they know how to do. We can always find something someone is doing that we don't like or approve of. I suggest you look for what people are doing right and compliment them on it. Millionaires are complimentary people. This is true. They're some of the nicest, sweetest, most generous people. If you think rich people are jerks, you're actually just projecting what you saw the last 60 years of Hollywood movies. You probably don't know any. I know dozens and dozens and dozens of millionaires or like high six-figure earners, wealthier people. And I can honestly say 0 of them are rude, 0 of them are jerks, 0 of them are greedy, 0 of them are selfish. In fact, some of the best Christians, godly people I know. Generous, tithers, givers. They give of their time. They give of their money. They buy people stuff. They pay stuff off. They pay off churches. They're generous people. That's you too. I'm trying to pull you up to that level. Don't think it's wrong. Don't think it's bad. It's great. It's a lot of fun too. Millionaires are complimentary people. They understand the wisdom of making people feel important. Tearing down people is foolish because it puts you in a negative attitude and often traps you there. Don't get caught in those traps. Stop criticizing. Start complimenting. You'll feel better and the doors of opportunity will start to open. Oh man. Millionaires do talk about things and people, but not in the same way the middle class does. Millionaires talk about the great idea someone had. They talk about people who create wealth with their ideas and discuss what they can learn from them. Man, it's so good. I could keep going. I want to leave you with this. Let's just do the quick recap from the beginning. There are 3 types of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who say what happened. Big people talk about ideas, average people talk about things, and small people talk about other people. It's so good. Millionaires talk about ideas and make things happen. The middle class talks about things and they watch things happen. The very poor talk about other people and ask, what happened? What do you need to adjust in your thinking today? Here's how this works, guys. This is the insight to life. You change the way you think first, your results will follow. You change the way you see yourself on the inside, the results will follow. The money doesn't come first. You raising the bar in your life, raising your standards, raising how you see yourself, that changes first, then the money follows. And it can happen quick. But you got to work on seeing yourself differently. Pick up this book, listen to this video again. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the algorithm, but you also don't want to miss the next installment I've got coming out very soon. It's going to give you another tip to change the way you think from middle class to the millionaire mindset so that you can get the results in life that you want to get. Love you guys. See you in the next one.